It was a good day, Goodison Park, my friend. It's something we are starting to say on a regular basis. Dyche, in Sean Dyche, you know what we do in Sean Dyche, my friend. We trust in the great ginger man.
Yeah, I mean, super confident, in great form, great energy. I think the change that I made a note of was Ashley Young was in at right back. Yeah. For Seamus Coleman. Actually, Young went off injured as well, so that's something they need to be careful of. A couple of things that I want to, or a couple of people want to. It's actually three people I want to pick out. First off, some player that I think you pointed out a few weeks ago, Rob, Jared Branthwaite, the centre back, had another big game at central defence there. Another very, very big game. So that's an easy one. Dwight McNeil, I thought, was excellent, Rob, throughout the game. And listen, we kind of joked a little bit about this guy, and we joke about how good he is or not. But he is starting to excel, really, from a wide position. Of course, we know the manager trusts him from his time at Burnley. Sean Dyche knows all about him. I thought his influence in the game was very, very good, particularly with a lovely ball in for that first goal that Decore hammers in after the rebound off the goalkeeper. And I'll go straight to it, guy. The third guy I mentioned, and it's going to be my underappreciated performer, is the manager, Sean Dyche. And what an incredible job he's done at this football club in steering them in an awful situation last year and getting awful news of the 10 points deduction. He has been impeccable in leading a club out of a crisis, and through smart recruitment, because the longer he's there, the more windows. He has now created a team in his own kind of spirit, and he talks about mentality that we're seeing now, but it's got a bit of quality as well. The additions of James Garner in midfield, the addition of Jack Harris on the right hand side, and plus a couple of others are making his team better. But I just think, listen, me and you have kind of had a bit of fun with Sean Dyche over the years, and about how far or who he can manage, and I've said, I don't know whether he can go. But of course, at Everton, he was always a very good fit, and now I think he is appreciated, Rob. So, many out there might say, listen, we love what he's doing. Yeah. But I just wanted to double down on it and say, wow, I'm not sure there's many other managers that could have handled the pressure, this great football club of going out of the Premier League with a new stadium, financial problems, the points deducted. To handle that the way he's handled it has been absolutely remarkable, mate. And I just wanted to give him a shout out, and I'm sure he's not underappreciated, but I want to make sure everybody realises that from my side of things, what an unbelievable job he is doing in taking care of this great football club, and looks like he's going to lead them to safety again. I mean, there's a ton of time to go, and he ain't out of it yet, of course, but they look a good side. And what a great job he's doing, Rob. So I just wanted to give him a shout, Sean Dyche.
It's a brilliant shout, and the Ginger Mourinho, you're never going to get an argument from me with Sean Dyche. The job he's doing, the team now looks set, Rob. It looks like, Phil Neville said to me today, it's like it's got Burnley's structure with better players now, so they can do more. Yeah. And he said that's what he's showing. With better level of player, he can do a little bit more, and that was the question that everybody always said about Sean Dyche. Well, he can do that bit, but what's he going to be like when we've got possession? I think you're right. I think his personality for this football club is perfect. I think he represents it well. I think he talks well. I think he didn't sulk about the 10-point penalty. He told his players to brush it off. Let's get on with things. We just did the lowdown, Rob, and anyone who gets a chance to hear it. One of my questions to ask Rebecca Lowe was, who finishes higher this season, Everton or Chelsea? Let's remember, Everton had a 10-point deduction. Everton sits 6 points behind Chelsea. Who finishes higher? And Rebecca Lowe said, right now, I'd probably have to say Everton.
No way.
She said Everton will finish above Chelsea.
Wow. Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that, and I love it, and that's what's great about the lowdown. Yeah, Bex comes with some great takes and some strong takes and controversial takes. Totally, I mean that's the whole point of us doing it. It's great. But yeah, why not? I mean, I don't think that'll happen. I think Chelsea will have to
talk to me about Chelsea.
Have to find
today.
A little bit of form at some point.
Talk to me about Chelsea today. I mean, they didn't turn up at Man City, and you talked about lack of energy and lack of drive and blah blah.
Spirit, mate.
I thought they there wasn't an awful lot, and there was one shot on target in the first half. I think Everton had one shot, Chelsea didn't have any on target. I think there was a couple of efforts. Cole Palmer looked the most dangerous. Build up another injury for Reece James. Rob, we're hearing the hamstring that is for the captain of the football club, can't seem to get a run of games together, which doesn't help him, doesn't help the manager. 4 changes, Rob, to the Chelsea team. Silva didn't start, Colwell didn't start, Sterling didn't start, and I'm forgetting who else didn't make. Cucurella, was it? No, Cucurella played left back, wasn't it? It was a right back who was different, but it was a different looking Chelsea. But in the end, Rob, I kind of feel like some games are won through different things. I just felt the will wasn't there today. I mean, talk about the football, the create a couple of chances. I just sometimes think like the personality of Dyche is coming through into his team. And Beck said to me, well, shouldn't Poch's personality be coming through to the players? We know that there's still lots of questions, still lots of potential, still a lot of work to do. But shouldn't we see a little bit more of that? Let's just dig in here today and let's see how it goes.
Yeah, it's. I think in general, Rob, today the build-up play is okay from Chelsea. Yeah. They kind of build up okay, and maybe that's right when you consider the midfield players they've got. Enzo Fernandez is a good footballer, is a World Cup winner with Argentina. Caicedo knows how to play in midfield, but I think it's at both ends, isn't it? It's at both ends. It's the defensive side of things, and it's the attacking side of it. There's no punch. There's very little punch in this game from their front players in the attacking third, and they look like conceding goals a lot. I mean, listen, we've talked many times about the money spent. Let me chuck this in for some comparisons, Rob. And this is a very Robbie Earle thing to do here. And we know the amount of money spent, the difference amount of money spent by Chelsea and Everton. Yeah. But is there that much difference between Cucurella, Mikalenko, Mudryk, McNeil, Enzo, James Garner, Badiashile, Branthwaite? That's just a few off the top of my head I made a note of. When you're looking at it, I thought it looked pretty even. But then you remember the amount of money that Chelsea have had to pay for some of these players, and they're on a pitch where others are looking equal, if not better than them. So it will always, for me, go back to the thought of all this money been spent on these young players that aren't proven. I think I've said it every single podcast, by the way, when we talk about Chelsea, because that's what worried me from day one, still worries me now, that a lot of these players aren't that great. So you don't have a great team, and great teams don't get great results, and they end up in mid-table. Now, maybe they're better than that, and people keep telling me. Somebody in social media said to me, when do we start pointing at Pochettino with all this talent? Yeah. And I think I just said, with all this talent. So so let me throw that to you, Rob. Yeah. Is this starting to look like a Pochettino problem, or maybe you're different to me, or is still the players not at the right level for him to do his best work?
I think, and again, I don't like this phrase, but it's a phrase that's used. He gets a free hit this season. I've said it's a 38-game experiment. Every game he should be writing down what he's learned, what he's seen, what he knows, what he's still questioning. It's interesting. I had a note on my my research, Rob, for the game, and I said Pickford, Tarkowski, Branthwaite and Garner are better than Sanchez, Silva, Disardi, whichever you want, and Caicedo right now. Right now, the base of what Everton's got is better than the base of what Chelsea's got. Now, this time next season, Rob, if we are 15 or 16 games into next season and we're still having these same conversations, Poch is in trouble.
But so it will still be his fault, even though we don't think the players are that great.
Well, what I'm suggesting, and actually it's interesting, I'm glad you just reminded me, I think after the game today he's talked about we need to do some work in the window, which tells me that he's not happy with what he's got.
I think he does.
And he said we need to do work in the summer. So I'm basing on work in the window, time for the second half of the season, work in the summer, and then you get half the season following. By this time next year, Rob, we should know what Chelsea are. And if we haven't, Poch isn't doing his job properly, and I think questions will be started to be asked.
Yeah. So just summarising that. So the more windows with the more influence that he can have on recruitment, and I think now they've got it figured out. They've got 2 directors of football. They've got it all set up, and maybe a lot of this has come from very early purchases of Todd Bowley and the owners when they first took over. That it's not helping now, but I agree with him. I think they need help in the windows. Anyway, well done, Everton.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock. And be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you there.